Right now the crypto market is showing renewed momentum, and one of the biggest players in the entire industry, Ethereum, is once again attracting attention. At the moment, Ethereum is trading around $2,134, and it has already pumped nearly 4% today, which is a strong signal that buying interest is slowly returning to the market. Even though a 4% move might not look extremely dramatic compared to smaller altcoins that sometimes pump 20% or more, when a massive asset like Ethereum moves this much in a single day, it often indicates that large capital is entering the market. Ethereum is not just another cryptocurrency, it is the foundation for a huge portion of the crypto ecosystem, including the DeFi platforms, NFT marketplaces, and thousands of decentralized applications, which means whenever Ethereum starts moving upward, the entire market usually begins to react as well. The reason behind today's 4% pump is likely a combination of improving market sentiment and renewed confidence from investors who believe the worst of the correction phase might be behind us. Whenever the broader market stabilizes and Bitcoin begins holding strong support levels, institutional and large investors often start allocating capital into Ethereum because it is considered the second most important asset in crypto. Ethereum also benefits from strong long-term fundamentals, especially after its transition to a proof-of-stake network, which significantly improved its energy efficiency and long-term sustainability. This shift strengthened Ethereum's narrative as a platform designed not only for speculation but also for building real decentralized infrastructure. Another important factor driving optimism around Ethereum is the continuous expansion of its ecosystem. Developers continue to build applications ranging from decentralized finance services to gaming platforms and social networks, and each new application increases the overall demand for the Ethereum network. When more users interact with decentralized applications, they need ETH to pay transaction fees, which naturally increases demand for the token itself. Over time, this kind of utility-driven demand can create long-term upward pressure on price, especially when combined with growing global adoption of blockchain technology. Even though the current price of around $2,134 is still far from Ethereum's historical peak levels, many analysts see this zone as a reaccumulation phase where long-term investors quietly build positions while the market remains relatively calm. This phase often happens after a correction and before the next major expansion cycle. Crypto markets move in waves, and historically, Ethereum has shown the ability to move very aggressively once momentum returns. In previous cycles, it stayed quiet for months before suddenly beginning strong rallies that surprised most traders who were waiting for perfect confirmation. Looking at the broader market structure, Ethereum's movement is closely tied to overall crypto adoption and investor confidence. If institutional interest continues growing and blockchain technology keeps expanding into sectors like finance, gaming, and digital identity, Ethereum could benefit significantly from this growth. Many major projects choose Ethereum as their base layer because of its security, large developer community, and established reputation. This network effect is extremely powerful because once a platform becomes the default infrastructure for developers, it becomes increasingly difficult for competitors to replace it. However, Ethereum also faces competition from other blockchains that promise faster speeds and lower fees. Networks like Solana and others are constantly trying to attract developers and users by offering alternative solutions. This competition pushes Ethereum to evolve continuously, which is why upgrades and scaling solutions remain a crucial part of its long-term strategy. Technologies like Layer 2 networks are already helping reduce congestion and transaction costs, allowing Ethereum to support more users without sacrificing security. Despite these competitive pressures, Ethereum still holds a unique position in the market because it has the strongest developer ecosystem and the most established infrastructure for decentralized applications. This gives it a long-term advantage that goes beyond short-term price movements. Investors who focus on fundamentals often see Ethereum not just as a cryptocurrency but as a foundational layer for the entire Web3 economy. Right now, with Ethereum trading around $2,134 after a 4% pump, the market appears to be slowly regaining confidence. This doesn't necessarily mean a massive rally will happen immediately, but it does show that buyers are willing to step in when prices dip. If this momentum continues and overall market conditions remain favorable, Ethereum could start forming a stronger uptrend in the coming months. The next key psychological zones will likely be around $2,500 and $3,000, where stronger resistance levels could appear. For long-term investors, the real story is not about a single day's 4% pump but about Ethereum's role in the future of blockchain technology. As decentralized finance, tokenized assets, and digital ownership continue growing globally, platforms like Ethereum could become the backbone of an entirely new digital economy. And if that vision continues developing over the next few years, the current price levels might one day look like just another early stage in a much bigger journey. Because in crypto, the most powerful movements rarely begin with huge headlines. They often start quietly, with small daily gains, gradually building momentum until the entire market realizes something big is happening. And right now, Ethereum's steady climb after today's 4% move could be one of those early signals that the next phase of the market is slowly starting to wake up. Rocket.